you everybody for coming out on Woodbury's Earth Day to celebrate the nature of Woodbury through poetry. My name is Sandy Carlson. I'm Woodbury Poet Laureate, and had the honor of collecting the artwork and the poetry and the prose that are going to be the book, The Nature of Woodbury, and it's quite a collection. We've had 52 contributors. Told Marla earlier, today is the first time in a long time I've played with a full deck. And it's amazing. It's going to be a beautiful book. It'll be ready in about a month, so we'll be emailing the contributors so you know that it's all set. And the Arts Alliance of Woodbury is paying for the printing. The books will be $20, and the proceeds will benefit the Arts Alliance. And it's a treasure. And in thinking about the nature of Woodbury, it's a tricky thing. It's not that Woodbury is background or Woodbury simply as setting. It's Woodbury as home. And that's a far more complex and interesting experience than Woodbury as setting. And thinking about this, I'd like to just begin with a brief passage from this book, A Philosophy of Walking, which I picked up after Ed and I were lost for many hours at Macedonia State Park. And we never thought we'd ever make it to the other side, find our car again. Never happier to hear the car alarm beep when we finally found the car, And this is a great book. I'm a walker, and this book actually describes walking as a form of madness, that doctors at a certain time thought people who were inveterate walkers were out of their minds. And that may be true. I don't know. Maybe I got to reflect on that a little bit more. But there's a paragraph I'd like to share with you just to get started. And I think it speaks to what the nature of Woodbury, that art book collection, is about. He says, when you walk, you take in through your pores the height of the mountains and the shape of the hills. The body becomes steeped in the earth it treads, and thus gradually it stops being in the landscape. It becomes the landscape. That doesn't have to mean dissolution, as if the walker were fading away to become a mere inflection, a footnote. It's more a flashing moment, sudden flame, time catching fire. And here, the feeling of eternity is all at once that vibration between presences. Eternity, here in a spark. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are going to get the ball rolling with some poetry from Ed Zitko.
I'm going off the phone, and I texted everything I needed, so there's going to be a couple seconds in between. You're going to hear a lot of greens and grays and blacks in these poems, or at least the greens and the grays. Because when we did From Art to Art, Natalie Van Vleck had a scene of Woodbury in here, and those were the colors in the painting, and it turns out those were the colors on the cover of the book after we climbed the fire tower to get some artwork. But I'm going to start with a poem called Sunset on the Lodge, and if you know the Masonic Lodge down the road, sitting up, I can't get enough of that at night during the summer. Driving by, I always got to stop and catch my breath when the sun goes off the front of the building. So Sunset on the Lodge. In a park in the hollow, I should wear these. In a park in the hollow where Woodbury began more than 3 centuries ago, baseball games are in full swing in fields just off the old main road. As the setting sun splashes color off the historic Masonic Lodge, high up on a rock ledge near where Methodists gathered in town for the first time, the games can last long past dinner hour. As the kids walk the bases and the innings drag, as only innings can, it's easy to be distracted by Mother Nature doing what she does best. Sometimes pings of the bat, shouts of balls and strikes, calls of outs and safe, cheers of the crowd cannot compete with the glowing facade. People post to Instagram and Facebook, sharing that spiritual experience, hashtagging the game away. so this one is about hiking to the top of Ornog Mountain. And it's called On Ornog Mountain. Where's the character of a place when the sky is a high blue, when barely a wisp of cloud streaks white in the sky? You get some in Woodbury when the greenness of the trees meets the gray summer sky, when the sun peeks through, its rays whispering the raindrops away. You get more of a sense of the place in the fall. Stop at any overlook along the trail or climb to the top of the fire tower on Ornog Mountain. Look out toward town on a crisp, sunny fall day across the Pomperaug River Valley as leaves of red, orange, and yellow glow in the midday light as the sun plays hide and seek among the stratocumulus clouds. There may be a chill in the air as you take in the breathtaking view. Enjoy it while you can. Preserve the image in your mind, for the almanac predicts a harsh winter. You'll need that special fall view from the mountain to sustain you until it's safe to climb again. I like history, and there's plenty in Woodbury. In fact, Sandy's family goes all the way back to pretty close to the founding. Founding goes back to the founding of Connecticut, and then they helped settle up this way as well. And if you drive on Church Street and you turn a corner there by the old cemetery, there's a big stone that says Isabel facing out. That's Sandy's family's.
You don't get out.
And if you remember, a couple of years ago it was really black. Well, we cleaned it off and it looks really good now. This one is called From the Sound. From Long Island Sound they came to settle and make a town by name. Yet the river described to them appeared too small, less than a gem. Wandering west they found another, but soon they preferred the other. As back they trudged o'er Good Hill, a valley below in solitude, their breath stilled. In the area of 3 rivers, 2 barely more than thin pen lines in blue, flowed into one with a fertile valley, where to form a town, settlers rallied. A river first thought too mild-mannered and small, could indeed support residents and visitors all. Many spread to towns borne down river, and waterways with a similar demeanor nearby. Plus 350 years later, to this day, the force of nature great, Weekapimi and Nunawadg flow into the steady Pomperaug, which leads to the Hootastonic, its rushing southward euphoric, giving, taking, and feeding life, completing nature's circle back to the sound. This is one that this is the one that's in From Art to Art. It's called Natalie's Woodbury So True. Having climbed up 260 feet to look over Woodbury's long main street, I stand with green trees so high, with my phone shooting gray sky. The colors in 2023 are maybe the same ones you did see when you painted your pristine local scene as you cycled about. You'd certainly have seen. Firsthand in our little New England town, rolling agrarian hills all around, brown, hard-packed lanes winding along, whitewashed churches and nearby homes standing strong. Critics decry the darkness in your palette, yet in this small area we inhabit, charcoal tints of greens and grays are so often seen throughout our days, and are as typical now as likely then. And so I say here to all of them, pish-posh, this here's art and its life, and those colors, those shadows are most rife. If only you'd have come to visit, to see the look of our sky and of our trees, then before you wrote with your harsh pens, you'd have known it's all true through Natalie's lens. And this last one breaks the rules a tiny bit. It was written on the deck in Woodbury, looking out at the woods behind our house. Gently blows the breeze, and I'll leave you with this one. Gently blows the breeze, I watch the swaying trees, breathing deeply here and now, in and out as I know how. Gently blows the breeze, Mother Nature please. Come hither, walk with me, set mind and spirit free. Gently blows the breeze, I rise walking with ease. I observe grazing deer, I ask, I listen, I hear. Gently blows the breeze, I know what peace is. My heart soars like birds above, connected to all with love. Gently blows the breeze, my quiet time does cease. I emerge, fully aware, that a bear sits in my chair.
Those New York Times reviews of Litchfield County are hilarious, right? I don't think a lot of the reviewers even appreciate we have electric lights and postage stamps and things of this nature. But anyway, thanks, Ed. Our next featured poet is Betty Lou Bowles.
See from the picture, but I sat up at what we call the Roxbury International Airport, at the top of Grassy Hill Road, and I looked as I wrote. The pen went across the piece of paper, and I wrote what I saw, and it's called The Glow. I have a whole bunch of good to have it organized on your phone.
No hurry.
The Glow. Betty Lou, come out and look at the sunset, Peter shouted excitedly. Wow, the sky was red. Let's go to the airport. Grab a jacket, I've got the keys, Peter urged. As we approached North Street, 3 runners were heading to the open field to see the red sky. We raced to the top of Upper Grassy Hill Road. Reds and blues, light and dark, pinks, textures of every sort, dashes of dark blue sky, vapor trails left behind in the loss of the sun. But the light remained and reflected on the clouds, hues never found in a Crayola box. The light pale blue at the bottom of the horizon, red rolling waves of blue-gray washing onto the horizon shore, along with baby girl pinks, turning to the reds of a teenager dressing boldly, and baby boy blues turned to the toddler's Oshkosh denim overalls. A black streak across the blazing red. Where did that come from? A cloud of blackness among the blazing lighted sky. Minutes pass, and the sky's brilliance turns dark. The shade of night is pulled down on the day. In this poem I wrote about the sunset as well. This is the western sky, fired by the sun, hangs on to the edge of the world. Blues, reds, pinks, and yellows. Wonder flows through silhouetted trees. This has also happened up at the Roxbury International Airport in the morning. It's called Morning Walk. I walked this morning as the sun began its ascent into the sky, and the moon, a shadow of its former self, began setting in the west. A bobolink flew from its nest in the grasses, its white cream buzz cut bobbing along as it hopped from one canary reed grass stalk to another, all the time leading my eyes away from its hidden nest. While a sparrow sang, the red-winged blackbird landed on the telephone pole's crossbar and listened to its song. Dancing with the grass in the newly risen sun, with the blowing breezes lifting my skirts, I opened my arms to welcome this day. Now, some of you may know Murray Brothers, which is the local car garage in town. And I've been taking lessons writing with Lynn Northrup for a number of years. And Lynn sent a text out to the class and said, there's probably a poem sitting right in front of you. And we were at Murray Brothers, and I was waiting for Peter. And I looked up, and I saw this. You all seen? I know this. So I wrote this. The Tin Woman, dancing, happy now that her Tin Man has a heart. It wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gotten that prompt. And so it was very serendipitous. This is off the subject of nature in Woodbury, but it's a favorite poem of mine, and I know that you'll understand why when I read it. When we say yes to life, it is good that our life's path is hidden from us, for I believe fear would strangle us if we knew God's plan. And yet, with faith and grace, we step onto that invisible path, knowing that each step is watched over, guided by our Redeemer, the man God who has shaken our worldly ways by his coming as one of us. And the last poem I'm going to read, I think it's the last poem, is The Venerable Oak. And the Venerable Oak and the Glow are both going to be in the nature. And all of the poems that I've written today, read today, except for the one, yes, this is Molly's piece here. And when Molly did this piece for the 2017 show, I saw it and was immediately struck with it, and it reached out to me. You know, I looked at it, and you know the eyes of my heart just wrapped itself around, and I just loved it. I mean, it's a very simple piece, but you know, when something causes a lump in your throat, you need to write about it, right? So now if I can find the poem. So the Venerable Oak is in I feel very discombobulated today. I don't know why. There it is. Thank you, everyone. The Venerable Oak. I am old. Insects live in my nooks, nibbling contentedly. A squirrel family dwells within my hollows, and the robins have come back again this spring, making a nest in the crook of my arm. I watch now, ancient, frayed, and filled with life. Thank you.
Thank you. My friend Suwan has graciously agreed to accompany these poems on her flutes. And I have 3 poems. And I think if you have applause for me, if you could hold it to the very end. Great. At Hollow Park, late summer, among the trees, the sun lights up heart-shaped foliage of a gray birch. I touch their leaf tips, weathered by the season, transformed from rosy buds to delicate green newborns to adolescents waving lusty flags in the heat of July. Squirrels. Some hang like tattered curtains. Even so, sturdy trunk and branches support the whole congregation as they shimmer and sing their hushed hymn, and below a genealogy of roots spreads and wanders. Side by side, two seasoned sojourners taking in sounds of children playing, cars coming and going. It's late, and the day will arrive when everything falls away. But it's taken me this long to really see you, to know my own depth and breadth, to surrender to being. You come to a small lake edged by a span of welcoming grass. You pause, then make your way to the shore, where images of slender, leafless trees, evergreens, a tidy barn, an American flag hoisted high on a pole, all reflect faithfully on the water's smooth surface. And allow your gaze to soften as elements of earth, water, and sky declare their mutual love for one another. A light breeze ruffles the water into an impressionist version of the scene, and the play of air on your skin feels like a benediction. Season. How many more to come is unknown. there is this, here, now. Beauty's reflection, a moment of contentment when all becomes one. Sycamore. Once again, I go to visit the tall, ancient woman who stands by the river. It's winter, and her leafless, dappled arms and gnarled fingers reach for cool blue sky, her shapely torso wide and welcoming. Stillness, a generous stillness, and I lean my body against her grizzled skin to hear her beating heart. Breathing slowly, we enter timeless space, embracing and embraced. Centuries has she stood here observing our comings and goings? How many seasons of budding and birthing her summertime garment of greenery before tossing it aside piece by piece to witness another white winter in bare bleached bones. Whistle and trill in nearby branches. The river murmurs a litany of old stories, and from far away, children's laughter floats above the treetops. The wise one keeps her silence as my song weaves its way through the invisible web uniting us all.
Anybody in the audience would like to share a poem?
I will read my poem.
Oh, yay. All right, come on up, Paige Baker.
I have it on my phone here. I'm Katie. I work here at the library, actually. And this was my poem submission for the nature of Woodbury, and I've titled it, Leaping Over the Veins of Woodbury. Also, forgive me, this is my first time reading. There is not much more to me, starting again. There is not much more to life for me than to see a bobcat cross me in the road. Strong legs hop through the frigid atmosphere, followed by a short tail. The frosted caramel grass weeps over the edge of the curb on this cold night. Silent and sweet she is, passing by without a glance. She bounds over an old New England stone wall, 100 or 200 or 300 years old, adorned with mosses and late-season lost maples of crimson and carmine. She clears it with ease, and I wonder how many before her did the same. An autumn-colored fox, a doe, and her wobbly and speckled fawns hurrying to catch up, just barely clearing the wall. I wonder how far she is from home, or if she's caught something good to eat. I think of her for many moments after. I wonder and pray that there is enough room in this crowded world for her to live a safe and bountiful life, and I will wait for another creature to cross me and make my life complete. Creature, my heart races for you.
Katie has built the incredibly beautiful pollinator pathway in the library windows. So check that out, and the poems are in the clouds that are in the book, so that's pretty amazing. Thanks for that. Anybody else care to share a poem?
My name is Sonia Liga. My mom graciously invited me. I live in Southbury, but I feel like I have the best of both worlds because I'm always heading to visit her, and Woodbury calls me. I just love Woodbury as well. So this poem was written, I needed some space to myself, so I was by myself and I was meditating. And here I go. Pounding rain like a fast beating heart, quenching the thirst of the ground and all that depend on it. Distracting in a fine way, is my heart in sync? Pouring like pellets, a race for the finish. Flooding some soil pots, thunder's distant wrath slowly approaching, then fading out. Sounding like fireworks, it being ironically the 4th of July, as if nature's cry celebrates the day that freedom rings. Wind blows in, softer drops, lightly dance on rooftops. Thunder crackles, roars like the lion cub. They speak to each other in orchestral beats, in harmony. Oh, such a symphony. Just when you think the show is over, back for the finale with vengeance. Lightning, thunder, rain, now a threatening warrior team, like the show of fireworks, but not man-made. Feeling safe, cozy, protected inside, empathy for those exposed. Where do the wild go to hide?
I'm Scott, and this was my submission for Nature of Woodbury. We're all products of our education, experience, training, and in this poem, it's through the eyes of a Native American when Woodbury was new. So picture, if you can, outside Main Street when it was a trail. And there were no Woodbury inhabitants. This is a time of transition, Native American to colonial settlers. Place in the woods. The trail leads on, hills to the left, hills to the right, stones underfoot, wispy clouds high above, eyes everywhere, seen and unseen. Ancient Woodbury, place in the woods. The earth belongs to the Creator. It can't be sold. Wood grows on frozen houses. Smoke rises to the Great Spirit. The road leads up. Hills to the left, hills to the right, stones under wheel, wispy clouds high overhead, eyes everywhere seen and unseen. Ancient Woodbury, place in the woods.
Oh.